What is going on, everybody? It is Sean, or the Armchair Coach, and today it is time for us to step foot into Season 2 of our UTSA Dynasty. First season was a little bit of a struggle. We were on the precipice of doing great things so many times, but it didn't end up panning out. So today it is time for us to begin Season 2. We have quite a few things that need to get accomplished here right off the bat. I went ahead and I added all of our new players to the roster and took a look at the preseason awards. I'm not even going to bother showing you guys because there's nothing there. There's nobody on our squad that made the preseason first or second team All-American or All-Conference teams. Disappointing, but I can't say that I am surprised after the season we had. But I think we are up for a season where we could really surprise a lot of people. So first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at the red shirts. I've already completed this off screen, so we can just kind of quickly scroll through and see. We're throwing the red shirt on a lot of guys that we just brought in who are freshmen. And you are going to see something very interesting here right now, actually. Notice how Adrian Daly is on our roster. And he's not the only one. So if you happen to tune into my stream during the off season, you would have seen me have a pretty historic crash out when we saw these recruits that we were going after pretty heavily at the end of the recruiting cycle decide to go to places where there were no offers for them. So to see him on our roster at the beginning of the season was quite a surprise. So it also means we also have some NIL committed to a lot of players that we weren't necessarily expecting to have NIL sent out for. So mixed bag of results there. But regardless, so Adrian Daly ends up on the roster, and Carlos Thomas will be starting for us at left guard. And another guy that we thought was going somewhere else, Luis Tercero, ends up playing backup left guard for us this year. Who else? Jake Stork, I think, committed somewhere else, but he ends up on our roster. And then the same thing with Joshua Stick. So we end up with quite a few players on the offensive line, especially that we were going after, that ended up on our roster. We're pretty happy about that. I don't know what made that happen, but I'm not going to complain about it. We're going to benefit from it. So a few more guys that we threw the red shirt on. Nobody else that I noticed who ended up showing up on our roster that I don't remember committing, but that's fine. So as you can see up in the top, we are definitely better than we were last year. Now, I still think that we might struggle because we have a lot of gaps at some very important positions. The quarterback position is going to be particularly tough. We have some great skill position players. Let me do this in a screen that's a little bit more easy on the eyes to look at. But in the depth chart here, I mean, it's got Max Gerlich. I don't know exactly how you say it, but I think we end up starting Denzel Gardner. He's got pretty decent speed and he's got better throw power. He's not necessarily the most he's not the most electric thrower of the football with 82 throw power, but I think we can definitely run more of an offense with him at the helm. And then at running back, I think we're going to end up having a two-headed monster here of DJ Dugar and Tavoris Jones, two guys we went after pretty heavily in the portal. And I think they've got potential to play up to a pretty heavy role this year as long as the offensive line holds up. But before we can look at them, we look at the receiver room, which to my pleasant surprise, we had quite the offseason of development. We see Jamel Hardy step up a little. We see James Madison get a lot better. Parker Fulgham, a guy we brought in through the portal, took a big step up. So we've got quite a few guys, I think, who can make a big impact. We've got our 4-star guy who's making Waking May. making way too much money down here at 230 NIL with normal development trait. Hate to see that, but tight end is also going to be a particularly weak spot for us. As you can see, our best player at that position currently is Brandon Young, and he is a brisk 68 overall. But the offensive line, I think it's a mixed bag. We've got a couple of strong points. Our center and our left tackle, despite the fact that he's a true freshman, are, I think, going to be okay for us. I'm doing a lot of guessing into the wind here because it remains to be seen. But on the defensive side of the football, we have once again just kind of a mixed bag of talent. We've got Collins Achimpong, who we'll see if my beef with him ever gets resolved. Maybe he redeems himself this season. But we've got him and Enrique Warrior, a true freshman that we just brought in, playing up on the edge. Chauncey Logan, a guy that... Oh, Chauncey Logan! Chauncey Logan was a transfer guy, I'm pretty sure, that committed somewhere else that ends up coming to us. So we really benefit from that because he ends up being our starting defensive tackle. And on the outside linebacker front, it looks like we've got some guys who are going to end up playing out of position, but I'm not going to mess with it. The CPU generally kind of knows where the best spot for people to play. I mean, in this case, I think this let me get this right. Lock in here. The base of where they play, these two positions don't matter, because what the players that we're going to see on the field most of the time are going to be these guys that we see in these positions down here. So with that being said, I don't care too much to change their positions. So at middle linebacker, Carson Wise is going to be stepping in for us, a guy we brought in through the portal, and I think has I mean, it doesn't look like he's got the most potential, but we might be able to utilize his talents for a year or two until we can find somebody a little bit more long-term. And then at the cornerback spot, I think we've got a pretty talented group. We've got some guys who have, some speed for the American Conference. All of our guys being 88 speed exactly is a little bit eerie, but for the American Conference, I think that's enough for us to keep up and compete. And conference play is going to be the most important. I think the goal this year is at least 8 wins, compete for a conference championship. I think that's realistic for where we're at. And here in this first episode of this season, because we are going to be breaking the season up into 3 parts this time, we are going to be playing the first 4 games. So here in these first 4 games, we really have to come out and make an impact, make a name for ourselves, and in out-of-conference play, we have to maybe try to get some games on the schedule where we can, kind of show the world that we've got a better roster than we had last year and are ready to play against some talent. So rounding out the roster here, we've got our transfer safety that we brought in, Zach Williams, and our kicker and punter we had last year, who are both going to need replaced this year, which is going to be a world of fun. So with that being said, we take a look at the recruiting board now. We can look at the blueprint. Now, you can see that we have a lot of money committed to the roster. A lot of money committed to the roster. And usually that's not the best. We're kind of going all in this season in the sense that we want to make a little bit of a splash in the season and maybe get ourselves some potential boosts to these dynasty points overall. I've learned a little bit more over the course of playing last season and doing the off season about how to manage the NIL and getting a little bit more comfortable with letting some guys walk and managing how we do recruiting during the season better. So this season, I think we're going to have a different recruiting strategy as far as where we're spending our NIL money, if we're spending any at all this season. So with that being said, I don't think we're going to mess with the budget at all this year. I don't think we can even hire any more bonus staff, so that's fine. And Once again, we do have the goal to upgrade to that premier facility. We still have 3 more years to get that done. I think we're going to wait until... We're going to put that off as long as possible unless we have a huge bonus of points that we can comfortably go ahead and assign that to the facilities. So with that being said, it is now time to take a look at the recruiting board. I'm interested to see. It is not looking like we have a ton of interest from highly ranked players here. I mean, bunch of 2 stars and 1 stars that have us first on the board. Do we have a single 3-star interested in us off the bat? No. Well, I suppose when you are a team that has not historically played very well at all, you have a long road to go in order to build up a reputation in which even 3-star recruits have an interest in being in your program. Now, once again, looking at the team needs here, it's a little bit scary. The defensive side is looking particularly rough, but I'm not intimidated per se. So it's looking like we are projected to have 620 NIL points to spend. So that's accounting for players we have leaving at the end of the season for graduation. So I think we can definitely make that work. We're going to try to spend as little as possible this year. I think we're going to try to definitely prioritize getting prospects on our board who don't have a ton of NIL wants. So maybe that even means we don't go after a 3-star quarterback in this cycle. Maybe we don't go after a quarterback in the high school cycle. They usually just want so much money. They want all the money. Let's take a look. I mean, the top guy in the portal in this class wants 415 NIL as a freshman. Truly just and we get down here to the 3-star guys here, and we can just see that their NIL asks, even for the most bottom tier 3-star quarterback in this class, they are okay. We've got some guys down here, way down in the 3. Okay, so we can maybe go after a 3-star down here that's not asking for a ton. I'm fine with that. I'm not going more than 100 NIL. So I think we go for Kwabena Banogu here. He's 5'11", 197 though. That's just a... So after a little bit of deliberation with myself and speaking gibberish, we're not going to go after Kwabena Banogu here. He's just 5'11" and 197. I don't think a Russell Wilson archetype is going to pan out particularly well. I've had a couple of short quarterbacks and a couple of other dynasties I've done be okay at the end of the day. But I think we're definitely looking for someone a little bit taller with a little bit more to him. So I think Gregory Fala, I think that's how you would enunciate that. Gregory Fala here at 6'2", 199. We maybe have a little bit more potential to get something out of him. So it says we need 2... So it says we need 2 running backs. I think for our purposes... let's go ahead and get in the recommended tab. I think for our purposes, I think we would be okay going after 1. And of course we don't have anybody in the recommended tab who's even close to being interested. So I'm interested to see, is there anybody in the pipelines that is particularly cheap? Okay. I do not like that archetype. The north-south receiver, I don't even think I've ever recruited one of those type of guys onto one of my teams. I don't understand the archetype and how it could potentially pan out in a way that works for me. I don't know. I just prefer the East-West playmaker or the elusive bruiser. I think you get a lot more out of them at the end of the day. Okay, so it is not looking like we are going to see a running back in our pipeline that is going to be cheap. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let's see. We got some really cheap guys down here. We're looking for... We could go... I could be happy with a East-West Playmaker or an Elusive Bruiser. Yeah, but we've got 3 options. So all 3 of them are East-West Playmakers. And all 3 are like under 5'10". So they're going to be super short. So we're really taking a stab in the dark here. So I'm going to add all 3 to the board. And... oh, well, actually, one of them's a JUCO guy. We definitely don't want a JUCO guy. So we'll go ahead and add 2 of the guys. And then we'll make a choice on which one we like the most at the end when we're actually looking at them. And when we get over here to the wide receivers, I think it's going to end up being much of the same. Can we find somebody in our pipeline who's cheap, a 3-star, and in a pipeline? Okay. Deshaun Hamrick is a elusive route runner. He only wants 45 NIL. He's got the 3-star pipeline to Texas. So I think once again, I think it's not bad for us to add guys, and then once we get over to the prospect board, remove them once we have a better understanding, and maybe spend a couple hours to weed out what we don't really want to see. So let's take a look at some more guys. I don't think we want to spend more than 50 NIL on a player this year. We really want to conserve our budget for the portal. So, okay, Nathan DeLuca here who only wants 20 NIL. That's someone we can definitely be interested in. We're going to keep looking, and I'm going to keep scanning. I'll add a couple more guys, and we'll reconvene when we're on the next group of players. So we've added 3 wide receivers. We'll take a look at them. We've got a couple of different, I think we've got 2 of the same, and then we've got a contested specialist in there that I definitely want to take a look at. Contested specialist can be so electric for your team, especially now that we've got control over the catch timing. So looking in the tackles here, we learned last year that offensive line is an expensive position. We can see that even 2-star linemen are asking for some NIL. So I think it becomes a matter of, can we get just one tackle, or one tackle, one guard to fill our needs, and can we get them for, like I said, under that 50 NIL limit that we've kind of set for ourselves, that allowance we're willing to spend. Not seeing anybody in the pipeline, so let's go ahead and take a look just overall. Let's go all the way down to the bottom of the 3 stars here and see who we can get for cheap. I see this guy's only asking for 20. 10, and he's a well-rounded archetype. I love to see that. We'll throw him on the board. Do we have anyone else? No. Okay, so we'll happily add Greg Robbins here, who's got just a 10 NIL request. And the well-rounded archetype, more often than not, we're going to find somebody pretty decent. I've never had that archetype let me down, but it would be a heck of a time for it to start. So looking at the left guards now, we've got quite the option. Oh, okay. So here in the guards, we can see that guards are a little bit more willing to take less NIL. And it looks like we can maybe find a 3-star guard who is willing to take 0 even. So let's see who else we can find here who's willing to come cheap. I think that might be the only one. So we'll just add him for now. I'm okay with doing that. Now, we've already added 8 targets. Now keep in mind, all in told, we're only going to be adding 1 at each position, so we've really only theoretically added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have room, I think. We ended up being okay going after 12 recruits last year. I think we do the same. So we have room to go after 7 on the defensive side of the ball. So let me do a little brainstorming on how I want to divide that up, and I will come back to you when I have our plan in mind. Okay, so I've done I've done some brainstorming, and I've come to the conclusion that no matter what we do, it's going to be tough because we have so many needs on the defensive side of the ball that with the recruiting hours we've got right now, we really can't fill all the holes we have. So we, I think, have to try to be aggressive in the early part of the cycle and get some early commitments from guys so we can add some more guys down the board. So I think with the way recruiting is working right now, I think we can experiment a little bit, and I'm willing to do that because we're really going after a lot of really cheap guys. So my plan is, like I said, we're only going to start by going after 12 guys. But once we start getting deeper into the recruiting cycle and we have the opportunity to see, you know, how we're faring and where we're ending up for some of these guys, I think we might be able to take our foot off the gas for them, leave them with just their scholarship offer, with the minimal NIL, with no recruiting hours, and that will allow us to start recruiting some other guys. So then we have a nice lush recruiting class that we don't have to do too much for. So looking here at the edges that we can add, I'm not seeing any edges in our pipeline that are particularly cheap. So let's take a look. We're being really conservative in this class. I can understand that, but I think it is to our benefit to do so. I really love a speed rusher. I think they are their abilities are really game breaking if they kind of reach their potential. So a speed rusher would really be great, and this guy's 6'4", 263. I think we go after him. They want the same NIL, so that's fine. And then we take a look here at the defensive tackles, and I understand we also need specialists. I promise you, I'm not ignoring them sitting over there. I think I'm worried because in this game I hear the big schools are going really hard after specialists for no reason, but I'm hoping we can go after a guy we like and do, like I said, just leave him with his scholarship and NIL and just ride the wave all the way out. But we will see how it goes. So looking at defensive tackle now, let's take a look at the pipelines and see. Okay, we see a JUCO guy who only wants 10 IL here. A couple guys with a small pipeline that don't really want that much, but is still too much for us. So just like we had to do before, we're gonna sort and go down and see what we've got at the bottom of the list here. So I can see we've got a few defensive tackles who do not want any, and I am fine taking a power rusher or speed rusher, honestly, either one. There's a few options. I think this guy is the best athletically. He's 6'2", 301. I won't say athletically. Size and weight wise, I think he's the best option for us. So we add him to the board, and we go over to the outside linebacker spot. And once again, we're just going to keep going with our same strategy here. We sort by our pipeline first, see if we can find someone particularly appealing, like... Oh, and we have to be even more picky with ourselves here because we're looking for a thumper or a signal caller, which I am not seeing in the pipeline. So I don't want to say this is the meta, but I think this is the strategy we're going to go with to save ourselves some NIL and still maybe find ourselves some talent to build around. A signal caller is usually what I prefer as far as outside linebacker archetype. They end up being somewhat decent edge rushers some of the time. Really got to develop them in a certain way in order to get that. Any lurker mics out here for cheap in the pipeline? That'd be really nice. I mean, the lurker linebacker we brought in last year's class ended up being our edge rusher, as we saw Enrique Warrior be. He was just way better as a true freshman if we put him at edge rusher. So I think that was something that we kind of needed to do, unfortunately. And so we are going to now sort and see what we've got. Can we find a lurker for cheap down here? Keen Tam. We'll add him and take a look. Now, cornerback, I definitely think it's a just pick your poison, really. Can we find somebody cheap? I'm sure there's plenty of them. I've never enjoyed the field archetype. We can definitely use a boundary archetype, but I feel like the field archetype always just ends up being really slow. I know some people say it's the best, but maybe I'm missing something, but I remember in my experiences that I've never had a field cornerback come in and just be really good for me. I don't know, maybe I just don't know ball. But looking here, I don't see anybody super cheap in the free safety room in our pipeline. So let's go ahead, sort, and look at the bottom of the 3-star room. I don't know if we'll be able to find anybody. Oh, okay. So Jawan Mayer here from Louisiana. He's not asking for any, and he is in a pipeline. Not a very good one for us, but a pipeline nonetheless. And now, strong safeties. Okay, a couple guys who are only asking for 35. This guy's... Oh, okay. Definitely Teddy Duke. Teddy Duke is only asking for 0, and he's 6'1", 197, plays strong safety at the hybrid archetype, which I think is my most preferred for strong safeties. I like strong safeties who can play a little bit of the box and cover the pass, while I like my free safeties to be really good at coverage. And now we need just some specialists. Oh boy. I've never been so nervous trying to put a specialist on my board, but I have to kind of be nervous with the way people have been going after kickers, apparently, or with the way CPU is going after kickers in this game. Now, do the kickers expect... There are kickers that want NIL. Wow. So this guy wants 85 NIL. Okay, we definitely do not want to pay a kicker NIL. So maybe we look for the cheapest power guy. Yeah, so Lee C. Higgins. Yeah, let's go ahead and throw him on. And I can't believe that. I've never seen that before. I only like the power archetypes in my specialists. I mean, accuracy you can develop, but you can't replace, or you can't really develop a big leg. You got to have that out of the box. And I really, really love having kickers with big legs. It can make the difference when you need a long field goal in a tight game, which I'm sure we're going to find ourselves in plenty of. So the punter class doesn't want that much NIL. I guess kickers get a little bit more NIL because they make a little bit more of an impact on the game here. But we're going to add Dayon Brackens here. Okay, we'll add Jalen Walters. Jalen Walters is the 6th ranked punter in the class. He's from Grand Prairie, Texas, so we get the pipeline, and he's not asking for NIL. So I think this is the group. And now we can begin scouting. And I think this year we have the quick scouting option on both sides. As we can see, Gregory Fala does look pretty good. Not great awareness, but we can definitely develop that. And 90 throw power to go along with 85 speed as a true freshman, I think that could really be something. And he's only asking for 35 NIL, so I think we can definitely work with that. And then let me take a look at a defensive player real quick. So yes, we have quick scouting on both sides of the ball. So good thing we hired a new defensive coach. So now we can spend 30 hours per recruit to get a full picture instead of 40 or instead of 50. So let me do some quick math in our head. That gives us the ability to, I think that gives us the ability to fully scout 13. So we have 17 on our board. We really need to be able to limit it down. I think we've done fine here with Gregory Fala. We need to pick one of these running backs now. So let's see what we get when we scout here. Nothing particularly crazy yet. So 89 speed or 81 speed. Okay, I think we know which one we're going to go with. So Devin Tootin is going to be the guy we go after, and we're going to leave him the rest of the way unscouted for now, so we have more room to look at some of these other guys. Now, man, do I get greedy here and try to keep more than one of these receivers if one of them is good? I don't know. I definitely want to only pick one of these elusive route runners we've got on here. 80 speed or... we're going to have to fully scout him. Or 87 speed. So Deshaun Hamrick is definitely going off the board. We'll leave Nathan DeLuca. And I'm definitely going to go ahead and fully scout George Nijman. And he is a gem. So we have to keep both of them on the board. Unfortunately for me. And we'll just have to figure it out later. And we're going to go ahead and fully scout our offensive line guy. So Greg Robbins is another gem. So this is a really good start. Got a couple of really good guys already. Ezekiel Davis looks like he's going to be solid. No stats that truly stand out to me on paper right now. I mean, high 70s for a lot of his blocking stats is pretty decent for a 3-star. So now we come over the defensive side of the ball. Still have 180 hours left. And do we have any players that we need to... So, okay, I'm going to try to prioritize here to make sure. I definitely want to fully scout our edge guy, make sure he's not a bust. Same thing with our mics. Our mic linebackers, the guy we play, are in control. So, 78 speed's a little slow, but I think we can work with it at where we're at as far as the American Conference. I think that'll be fine for now. So we leave him on the board. Definitely want to make sure our cornerback is up to snuff, and he is not. So good thing I checked him. So we'll have to go ahead and add ourselves another cornerback. Let me go ahead and add ourselves a new one real quick. Okay, so I think we've got, I just spent 10 points there for Jawan Mayer. We don't have that many hours left. We're going to put some blind faith in the kicker and punter we put on the board, and I think we go ahead and spend the rest of our hours to fully scout these secondary guys. And I think that's what we'll do. So Jawan Mayer looks pretty decent. Didn't pop the bust signal, so that, or the bust symbol, so we're pretty happy with that. Teddy Duke has 91 speed. Really always nice to see a guy with 90 plus speed as a 3-star. And is Antoine Slater, who we threw on the board in replacement of the guy we had previously, going to be any better? 92 speed to go along with 87 acceleration certainly looks like it. Not too great at zone coverage, but he's more of a man archetype, so that makes sense. But the speed and the athletic stats really speak to somebody I think that could play really well. So we have now gotten our recruits on the board. We have one more than we anticipated, and overall obviously 3 more total, including the specialists we need to recruit. So I'm going to go ahead and order our recruiting board here so I can have it pop up the way I like when we start the season. But once we do that, we're going to take a look at the schedule, and it will be time to roll. Okay, so taking a look at our schedule here. The only thing that I usually will change, and I'm going to change it here, is I'm going to make it so we're not playing FCS Midwest. I'll make it so we're not playing somebody too crazy, but I mean, honestly, anybody except the FCS schools might be a little bit crazy. But we'll go ahead and take on Akron. Sure, we'll take on Akron at home. They can come and see us. And I just like to have real teams on the schedule. I have nothing wrong with the FCS schools, but recruits don't like it, so it's better for recruiting if we're playing a real school. And I think every little bit of recruiting we can do is going to matter. So with that being said, we've got the recruiting board set up. We've got the schedule set up. Our depth chart we can take a look at the depth chart, make sure everything's in place. Let me make sure. So Denzel Gardner is going to be our starting quarterback. Let's look at the specialists especially. I want to make sure we've got, or make sure we know who's going to be on the field. So Chauncey Logan's going to be out there a lot. Chris Bryson's playing slot. Carson Wise and Thurman Sharp playing that coverage linebacker role. And then, okay, Chauncey Logan's also our rush defensive tackle, so he's really going to be seeing a lot of the field. Colin Pong and Aiden Jones are going to be our edge rushers. So, just like I said, those Will and Sam guys can definitely become decent edge rushers with the right development, and we're going to end up starting one because of that. So Parker Fulgham's going to be our slot receiver. Not too crazy fast, but probably got something in the way of route running that might set him apart, hopefully. So it looks like DeVoris Jones is actually better than DJ Dugar as the third down back, and I'm going to switch that because if we were, I forgot, we can't really, we can't do a full 1-2 attack like we could if I was playing every snap. I'm getting really tempted to do a play every snap on both sides of the ball and do it one game at a time. I really love having full control of both sides of the ball, but that's also a second dynasty that I've got to manage. I don't know. Shower thoughts with me while we wait for the season or week update to pop up. As we can see, plenty of players unhappy. Oh, okay. So we have new AD expectations. I did not see that we would have new ones. I thought we had different or the same ones as last year. So as we can see, the new AD expectations, we have to have a turnover margin better than -10. That is, I think, something we can do. I think we are in a better shape to maybe put up a less turnover heavy season. And we have to win more conference games than last year, which last year we... Oh, okay. So last year we only won 4, so we need to win 5. So, all right. So we've got new expectations. We've got a brand new season here in week 0. So, of course, we can set everyone up for practice. No one should be hurt. And we can get into recruiting, where things are going to be very interesting. So, here's what we got. We got 300 hours to spend on the recruits we've got on the board here. My plan, first and foremost, we are giving these guys scholarship offers right away. We're going to throw 5 NIL at each of them. I'm fine paying kickers and punters a little bit, specialists or people too, especially when the top guy in our recruiting class this cycle right now is a punter. We definitely want to make sure we bring them in. So hopefully just by throwing the scholarship and some NIL at these guys, we don't have to do anything else. So that's 5 hours that we can just hedge and wait on. So we are now left with 290 hours to start recruiting everyone else. And I'm just going to start by seeing if we can throw 15 points on all of these guys that we actually want to recruit. I want to see what kind of competition we're dealing with. You know, I don't want to have to start throwing and spending extra hours that we could literally save up until we need to throw a scholarship when we don't need to. So I'm going to go ahead and throw 15 hours, and then once I know more, we'll talk again. All right, so 15 points have been put on everyone here. So we still have 90 hours left, and in this early stage, I definitely want to make the most of those. So if I'm doing this correctly, I think that means we can essentially assign 10 more points to 9 players, which means we can take these 15 points off of 9 guys we really want to make sure we set ourselves apart from, And I think that's what we're going to do. So give me a second to assign those, and then once again, we'll reconvene. Okay, so we have assigned all of our points here. I think we've got a pretty good strategy going. We definitely threw points at guys that are in positions where we need a lot of them. So guys like our will linebacker, Tony Davis, our edge rusher, our defensive tackle, our Mike linebacker, guys where we are going to need multiple of them to fill the positional need. We threw more hours at them because getting them committed into the class quicker will let us go out and recruit more guys quicker as well. So we also threw some points at our quarterback. Obviously, we want to make sure we set ourselves apart there, as well as our wide receivers. So I think the strategy is pretty solid. And we'll also have hopefully some progress on the kickers and punters because we threw a scholarship at them. I also accidentally threw a scholarship at what was his name? Something Tam. Something Tam. I know the Tam part. What was it? Akeem Tam. So we threw a scholarship on accident at Akeem Tam because I was trying to go too fast. Oh, well. So it is now time for week 1. So I am more excited to step into these games than I was last year. I still think we are going to be in for quite a season, hopefully a good quite a season, but it's only going to be shown there out on the field what we're up against. Okay, so practice set up, and now we can take a look at the recruiting board. How are we looking after first week? I'm not seeing any movement on our punter or our kicker. We knew that was going to happen. Are we seeing anybody with a scholarship offer? Okay, so Jawan Mayer did get a scholarship. So we do have 15 hours, and we can always go ahead and pull some recruiting hours if we need. We'll throw the scholarship at him, and hopefully we can jump into his top 5. So Alex Rhodes gets a scholarship from Navy, so we'll throw 5 NIL his way. And hopefully that gives him a little bit more interest in considering us. Gregory Fala has 2 guys, and I should have expected that this was going to be the case, that I would have to throw a little bit of money his way. I don't want to overpay too much. 70 NIL is hefty. It is for the quarterback position, and we're not really giving anybody else crazy money this year. So we're also up against the crunch a little bit as far as needing to get a scholarship out and on his board. So go ahead and do that. Okay, so 2 of the guys that don't have offers, we're going to go ahead and pull some of their hours back on. So we throw him a scholarship, and we throw Antoine a scholarship with 5 NIL each. And I think that puts us in decent position. Hopefully we don't get locked out. At this stage of the season, it's not that big of a deal if we do. We obviously like the guys we had on our board, but we can also always pivot. So I'm not too panicked yet. It's only the first week of the season. And now we walk into our first matchup of the year. It is us versus Fresno State. Looking at the overalls, we should have a clear advantage. We said that many times last season, and it didn't end up being true many times. But I have more faith in us this year. So let's hop in and see what happens. Okay, it is the Alamo Dome. On the first home game of the year, as the UTSA Roadrunners take the field. Big game today. Got a lot of expectations this year, I think, and I think we are bound to live up to them finally. Coach Chair has put in the work to put us in a competitive position, and the team's just got to put it out there on the field. So, it is time for us to play the moments and see how the team performs. Can we get it done in sim this time? We do get to hop in on offense for the first opportunity here. And I think we start... Okay, it's a third down, obviously. I don't know why I chose to go with the read option. My reading skills horrendous right now. So big play. Need to come out and get a first down. I don't see anything, but we're going to step up and run. And that's something we couldn't do very easily last season at all. Owen McCown did not have the speed to just step up and run, but Denzel Gardner does. So don't make anything out of it on that drive. I think that's fine. We come out here and we go ahead and kick the field goal, and that'll give us a 3-point cushion to start the first game of the season. So always want to come out and score touchdowns, but I think us coming out and putting up points early is a good sign. So big third down opportunity here already. Can we get a stop? What does this new defense do with some new talent? Can we be a little bit more athletic than we were last season, as the quarterback is going to throw to absolutely no man's land? And we can get away with a stop here, as we're going to need to make another one very quickly now. Time winding down in the first. Still only the 3 points we scored on that one drive on the board. They're coming out in shotgun on 3rd and 7. Are they going to throw it again? No, they're going to hand off to the running back this time, but we are there. So big stop on 3rd down. So they're going to tie it up with a field goal now. And it is our turn to execute on 3rd down. Can Denzel Gardner step up, make a big pass? We're going to look, and that's us throwing to absolutely no man's land. So 4th and 7 now. Our offense is struggling a little bit. Maybe we get a little aggressive. Maybe we keep them out there on 4th. See if we can get a big first down here. We're going to dump it off to the tight end. Can he reach for it? No. I think that was the right read, the right play to make. Just tight end didn't have the speed to get away there. So Fresno State now drives the ball down the field. They're in our red zone, 10-yard line, threatening to take the lead. They're going to hand the ball off, and we are going to manage to stop them short of the goal line. So defense is already threatening to give up some points, or give up the lead that we had. Not that the offense is giving us a particularly confidence-building lead, as the running back's going to hurdle and get into the end zone for Fresno State. So they take the lead here, but with 3 minutes left, we do get the ball back. We keep getting thrown in situations where we're not able to really run the ball, so we've got to find something in the run game. I think we stick with a short pass here. Try to find something quickly, as nothing's open, and we're going to have to step up and find nothing. And we're going to end up punting the ball away. We can't come out here and put up 3 points in the opening game, guys. Come on. We gotta show the world that we are able to play better than we did last year, and we're not doing that right now. And we can't get a tackle either, as they bounce off multiple before rolling into the end zone. So now they're going to drop us in with 50 seconds to go and tell us to go score some points. Yes, sir, will do, as they go ahead and play double coverage on the route we were looking at there. Tough showing here in the first game of the season. Really thought we were going to come out and put up a good performance, as threw the ball in the harm's way there. Really would love to have a quarterback with a little bit more arm talent. Someone who can really push the ball down the field a little bit more, so we're not relying on, super quick passes all the time like we are. And I'm going to step up again, and we're going to drop the ball and turn it over. And that is the worst possible situation to have happen. So Fresno State is going to be up 23-3 now as we enter the fourth quarter. I mean, I can't believe how flat this team has come out here. I thought we went out, and we added a lot of talent, and the talent's just not playing what we were playing up to the standard that we thought we were going to have. So down big here, trying to make something happen quick. We get the first down there, and we finally score a touchdown, but, I mean, the game's over now. I mean, we come out, we put up 10 points in the home opener. That's extremely disappointing. You hate to see that. But what are we going to do? We're not getting separation against these cornerbacks here. And I think it's just an offensive line thing more than anything. I think with a little bit more time, as we can't complete that pass, we would be able to do a little bit more. I also think the talent we have in the quarterback room is certainly not helping us at all, as Gardner's going to have to step up on second down and get absolutely pummeled in the middle of the field. Tough showing. First game of the season, though, so we have plenty of time to make something out of the rest of the season. We're out of conference play. I hate seeing that we're coming up against a team who on paper is so much worse than us, and we come out and we fall so flat on the field. We just, for the second season in a row now, haven't been able to translate what should be great talent onto the field, at least through game one here, as Gardner steps up again and once again takes a big hit, but at least gets a first. We're playing for pride, and, you know, we're playing to build some confidence for later on in the season. Definitely getting our wits about us. We're getting our butts handed to us in game one, but that is okay. It's a learning process. We've got new players playing together. It's their first game action as a unit, and I think in time and with some more games under our belt, hopefully by the time we hit conference play, we're playing at a high level. I just have to keep telling myself this, otherwise I go insane. So, game coming down to the wire here. Once again, playing for pride. Nothing doing there. I can see that we have taken many sacks today. And at this point, they are hawking the pass. Our offensive line is getting us no time to throw the ball. I mean, I have no time, so we're gonna throw something up here. Desperation as Jamel Hardy comes down with it, but is it gonna matter? Are they gonna call offensive pass interference on him? All right, kick a man while he's down. I love the feeling. So, desperation time. Let's go give our super short Parker Fulgham a chance as it gets batted around. Fourth down. Last shot for us today. At the end of the day, I think we learn a little bit. I hope that the team learned something today. Learned a little bit about, you know, taking every opponent seriously. A team that we should have been able to put this score up on ourselves, we end up being on the wrong side of. As we look at the stats here, Denzel Gardner, 13 of 31 for 144 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, that's just abysmal as far as passing yards. I mean, the throw power, I think, is definitely leading to us not having a lot of success in the passing game. I see that he ran for 39 yards and ran the ball 22 times, and we only ran with our running backs 11. I don't know what that's about. And receiving-wise, just not a lot going on. That's just not the kind of performance I want to see, and it gives me a lot of worry as to what kind of performances we're going to be putting out on the field. But at the end of the day, I think we can recover. We get our wits back about us, and we regroup coming into next week. It says have I not spent all my hours? So disappointing result, week one. Swallow the pill of pain, and we move on to the next week. Things happen, can't control it, but hopefully we get some positive news recruiting-wise that helps ease the pain. I'm sure we're going to see a few guys lock us out. Okay. This is exactly what we want to see. So Antoine did end up in his top 5, but we are a part of it. Yeah, we're on the hot seat after that. I can't blame Coach. Oh, boy. I forgot that this was on the schedule. Who knows? Maybe we go out there, we put up a crazy performance at LSU. I don't know. But it's going to be a tough one. LSU is a great program. And I am afraid to see how that's going to play against the program that just put up 10 points against Fresno State. Oof. All right, so looking at the recruiting here, still haven't moved up for our kickers and punters, but they do. Our punter here, he does not have an offer, though. We're still good there. Nathan DeLuca, he's still looking offerless, but we are moving up for him. That's good. Demetrius Hester, we haven't moved up for yet. That's all right. He still has no offers. So we're going to keep scanning here. Do we have any guys that got an offer? So Jamon Mayer is still not considering us quite yet. We did throw him the 5 NIL, and he says he's very interested in that. Maybe we go ahead and up the ante on his recruiting hours. So go ahead and throw 25 at him as he gets closer to his top 5. Want to make it the cut there. We move up big time for Alex Rhodes after throwing him a scholarship offer. So that's good for us. Who else are we looking in good shape for? Okay, so Teddy Duke received a scholarship. That's fine. We'll throw him a scholarship offer of our own with the 5 NIL. And we will keep it pushing there. Greg Robbins here, our gem, is still not seeing any scholarships, so we can keep our points where they are. We do move up for Akeem Tam. Obviously, the scholarship offer, I think, is making a little bit of a difference for us there. But we're still looking in good shape. No offers to compete with. And we do move up very big for Gregory Falah. So we find ourselves in the midst of that recruiting. So I think that makes a big difference. We do make the top 5 for Antoine Slater. So we now have a choice. We can... I don't like the fact that Cal is recruiting him with that pipeline. I think it's going to make it very difficult for us. Let's schedule him for a visit. He likes conference prestige, so we'll throw conference prestige down as what we're going to talk about when he's here. And we got to go big quick for him. Ezekiel Davis is still not giving us a look yet. We take 10 points off of Akeem Tam for this week, and then we'll throw him on Ezekiel Davis, give ourselves a little bit of a bigger boost, try to get into his top 5. And that is what we'll spend our points on this week. And now it's time for an LSU game that I am not looking forward to in the slightest. Let's get our uniform set up, get us feeling swaggy, and get us out there. Okay, Death Valley awaits as we see the LSU Tigers march out the tunnel and onto the field. We are in for a tough game today. LSU, very obviously one of the best teams in the country, led by one of the best coaches in the country. But they have to play us today. The UTSA Roadrunners, the team that put 10 points on Fresno State. We are coming in today with upsets on our mind and angry fans in our dreams. So we have a lot to prove today. We have to prove that last week was a fluke and that we can perform against a team of LSU's quality. And they are going to give us the ball on the 1-yard line. Okay. Big game drive, or just big game drive because it's long and we're going to be on it forever. So DJ Dugar, our new running back that we didn't get to see carry the ball much at all last week, gets the first carry there and is able to get us a first down. And we can see our two-headed monster taking shape as Tavoris Jones is going to take this next carry and only pick up 1. So I really like the idea of being able to utilize 2 running backs. It'll keep both of them fresh and hopefully out of trouble with their wear and tear, as we're going to have to hand off here again. Nothing doing out on the RPO, and we are going to put ourselves in a 3rd and 4. So I'm really scared to throw the ball based off of how awfully it went against Fresno State. But we can always step up and run, and that's exactly what we're going to have to do here. We are not going to have much time to throw the ball. So I do want us to have a passing game. We can't just rely on the run because LSU will start stacking the box. We're going to have to rely on short passes just like that to DJ Dugar if we're going to stay in this game. So I think we just have to keep balancing it. We have to keep relying on the players that we brought in, the guys that we knew were going to be heavy contributors like Tavoris Jones, but our left tackle cannot keep that edge away as we were only able to pick up 3 there. Keep relying on our players. Keep relying on the guys we bring in through the portal, and don't get too rushy to make a big play. Really wanted our guy to hang on through the contact there, but it looks like they were able to knock it out. Big 3rd down as he cannot put it on his man. So on our own 44, a 4th and 7, we don't want to give LSU any more opportunities to do crazy things than they're already going to. So we're going to go ahead and just punt the ball away to be safe. Didn't realize our punter had a cannon like that, so they're going to get a touchback. And LSU on their first drive looks like they were able to drive down with relative ease. We find ourselves in a 3rd and short. Maybe we come out, play a little bit of man, force them to beat us man-to-man. Can we get a stop? As their running back is wide open, and he is electric. Bryce Underwood transferred to LSU. I had a feeling that might have been who that was, but I was not thinking that. Okay, so Bryce Underwood's an LSU Tiger now. That's scary. So it's 1st and goal for them after we weren't able to make the stop there. I think this game might end up being what we thought that Texas game was going to be. As they hand off to Harlem Berry, and he rushes forward for a few. I also did realize that I didn't take a look during our off-season stream to see where Will Henderson ended up. I did look while I was setting up this season. He ended up at Texas Tech. So I'll be interested to see how he does in the Big 12. Kind of makes sense. He's from Texas originally, so I had a feeling he was going to end up at another Texas school. Texas Tech wasn't where I was thinking. I actually thought he was going to end up at Texas or Texas A&M, maybe go to the SEC. Long story short, that's not where he ended up, as Bryce Underwood's going to continue to drop it off to Harlem Berry. Harlem Berry ate us alive on that drive. Not able to do anything on offense, kind of like I was expecting. And we find ourselves on defense in the red zone already again. And they're going to dump it off on an RPO, and we are not able to do anything to stop that. I think this game's going to be very long for us, as we find ourselves down 24-0 very quickly. 3rd down and 9 here. We're on LSU's half of the field. I'm sure we haven't done that very much at all in this game, but we're going to drop it off, just try to get in a better position to go for it here on 4th down, because at this point in the game, that's what we're going to need to do. We're going to have any chance. I mean, I knew for a fact that our game against Texas last year was mostly fluke, as I changed my mind on what catch I wanted, and we dropped the ball because I was just hoping that we were going to come out and be somewhat competitive. That's not what happened here at all, and it stinks. It stinks, it stings, but we are a building team. Our best players wouldn't even sniff the starting roster of this squad that we are facing, probably, and that's okay. So we come out here, we want to put up a touchdown, I think, or any sort of points. I think a touchdown for pride would really, I think make us feel good, as Parker Fulgham's able to make a catch there in heavy heavy traffic put us in the red zone. And for the first time today, we are going to have a chance to score the ball. Maybe it's because their backups are on the field at this point in the game, but we will take a score. Our team, I think, needs the pride. DJ Dugar had himself a pretty decent game today. A lot better performance than he had against Fresno State. So positive momentum. I think the other thing to note here, the other thing that we have to take away from this game that we need to take as a point of pride maybe, is only giving up 27 points. We could have been absolutely blown out here as Denzel Gardner. I'm going to get his name wrong every single time I say it. I keep thinking Devin Gardner, the old quarterback from Michigan, shout out, who wore 98 that one season. Giving up 27 points, I think, is a point of pride for us. We're only in year 2. We've only got, very limited talent on the rosters. We have no time to throw the ball there, and that's going to be a turnover. So, well, I was proud of us for only giving up 27 points up until the fourth quarter, but a little bit of a collapse as the clock begins to fade on this game. Just exactly what we expected. I can't be too upset. Once again, it was a lot more upsetting when we were closer to being in a position to compete and be in the game. But right now we just don't have the talent. As another blitzer's just going to get free. I mean, six sacks given up in this game. I'm sure we gave up plenty in last game as well. So the team is just really struggling to do something for our passing game, as we're able to complete one last big pass there as the time will expire, and we walk out of here with a 41-7 blowout loss. Looking at the stats again, I mean, Denzel Gardner barely put up 100 yards passing, 8 of 19 for 111 yards and an interception, and ran the ball for negative 18 yards. Ran the ball 12 times, probably because he's running for his life. Our running backs did manage to combine for over 100 yards rushing, so that's encouraging. But, yeah, I'm a little bit worried about the rest of this season. At what point do I consider maybe throwing in James Hand? I think maybe we let the episode ride. Give Denzel Gardner 4 games. He has not looked like a quarterback we want to continue to play. LSU is not maybe a fair team to use as the barometer for how we feel about him. Fresno State was a much better game for him to show us something, and he showed us nothing. So these next 2 games, I think, are going to determine Denzel Gardner's job. So looking at our recruiting updates here, we have Antoine coming in for a visit this week, as it skips away before we can take a look. We're getting more and more into the hot seat here as we get into the season. We are up against Texas State this week, and let's take a look at recruiting now. So, still haven't moved up for our punter. Once again, we're fine. Maybe I just want to be able to be in first place for them. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw 5 points down. We have a little bit of extra points to spend. So we break into first for Nathan DeLuca. That's good. So Demetrius Hester gets an offer, so that's fine. We go ahead and we send him a scholarship offer. I'm okay paying a little bit over what we wanted to pay to make sure we get him in the building. Okay, we move into first for George Nidgeman and Tony Davis. We move up on Shawan Mayer, so we are in good shape to get into his top 5 now, thank goodness. Alex Rhodes, we're in good shape for, it looks like, so far. And everyone else, right now, we're still making progress on. And we are still making progress on Gregory Fala. He is in his top 5 now. So now that guys are reaching their top 5, we have a little bit of a choice to make here. I still know next to nothing about Antoine Slater's cells. I know that he likes conference prestige, but anything else I would be stabbing in the dark. You can kind of play the elimination game up to a certain point, but as you can see, there's quite a few options that this could end up being. So it's just not safe for us to do this. So I might have to be honest with myself after this week, depending on how he looks or how the recruiting looks, and might have to pivot at the cornerback position, which that's fine. Plenty of 3 stars out there, and I think we can find another cornerback for pretty cheap that we can bring in. So we'll keep our eyes peeled on that one. We're looking good for Ezekiel Davis. We do have him in his top 5 now, and we can actually save some points by switching to a soft sell. Now, he has proximity to home as his number 1, and unfortunately right now, it doesn't look like we're able to really move the needle as far as changing his current pitch. So we're going to offer him a visit. We'll definitely pitch him on proximity to home because I think he's really going to enjoy that, and I think that'll make a big difference for us, and we can be happy with that. So that leaves us pointless, and like I said, right now we're a little bit spread thin on points because we're just trying to, well, I mean, honestly, on these guys that we've put 25 points on now, like I said, I might just go ahead and drop them down to 5 points until I see someone put an offer on them. It might be irresponsible, but it's kind of what we've got to do as a small program. We have to be able to be flexible with our points, use them when we need them, and it's all about managing who needs what where. So let's go ahead. For these guys that we're still not into their board at all yet, I want to go ahead and up the pitch on them a little bit. Make sure we get up the board and get in a good spot, so then we can ease off with confidence. And with that, we still have 30 points left to spend, so we can go ahead and I think we're going to use that on some scouting of the guys we still have here. So we go ahead and see that our running back Devin Tootin was not a bust, which is good. I think we did a pretty good job weeding out guys that were more likely to not develop into anything. We'll use our last 20 to fully reveal Alex Rhodes, who also isn't a bust. So far, aside from Tony Davis, I think we've scouted just about everyone except for our specialists. And that means we are really close to having a full class revealed and no busts in it so far. So fingers crossed on Tony Davis. We'll see. And it is now time for us to play the I-35 showdown. So Texas State is much worse than we are. However, I think our play at the quarterback position is truly holding us back, unfortunately. And we are going to maybe have to go into we might have to burn James Hand's red shirt this year if he is able to show us that he is better than Denzel Gardner. So Denzel Gardner's coming out here with a little bit to play for because he's got to show us that he's worth what we're paying him in NIL. He's got to show us that he's worth starting over the guy who's currently just eating a red shirt on our bench and eating 125 NIL on our bench. So we really got to come out here, or Denzel Gardner's got to come out here in the sim, and he's really got to show us something. Show me something today, please. Okay, Alamo Dome, striped out crowd, a rivalry game that we absolutely need to show out in. We have a recruit in attendance today that if we don't put up a big performance, I think the recruiting battle for him will be just about over, and we'll have to hit the portal, or not the portal, we'll have to hit the recruiting board again and find somebody else. But the most important thing that needs to happen today is we need to take care of business on the field. And right away, we are getting thrown in on offense. Like I said, Denzel Gardner has a lot to be playing for today. He has got to show us that we can put an offense around him and that we are not better off just letting James Hand play as a true freshman and getting some experience, as Gardner is going to step up and get the first down here. So first drive, it looks like we are finally, after many weeks of struggling to move the ball on offense, able to get inside the red zone with relative ease here on this first drive, as we are going to step back, hand off to Dugar Jr., and we are able to get inside the 10-yard line. Imagine if it's Duggar, and I've just been saying it wrong this entire time. Oh, God. Okay, so I went down a rabbit hole, a very deep rabbit hole. So it is, I think, Dugar. I have been getting it right. DJ Dugar Jr. has not played any college ball that has been commentated on, so I can't find any highlights where someone's saying his name. I'd love to see him play. It looks like he's incredibly talented. I looked at some of his highlight film, and he looks like he's got quite the burst, and he might be an incredible running back for Tulane. So, anyway, he's going to be an incredible running back for us here at Tulane. But right now, we're going to hand off to Tavoris Jones, who's going to cut and get us inside the 5, and we are 3rd and inches now. So I think we just keep going back to the run game. We've got 2 great running backs and a quarterback I don't have a ton of faith in. And we are going to get pulled into the end zone, and maybe for the first time this entire season, that was easy for us. So 3rd and 7 again, still on offense. So offense is humming a little bit, able to get some movement on the ball, unlike last game. And I see a guy wide open over the middle. That's TJ West, and he's going to get inside the 20, down close to the 15-yard line. And with that, I think we are going to get a red zone moment now. So this is more what I was hoping for against Fresno State. Didn't necessarily expect it against Texas, as we are going to once again hand off to Tavoris Jones, and they're going to be waiting on it this time, as nothing is there. Got to keep building on that running game, though. It might not be there this time, but it might be there next, as Dugar Jr. is now back in the backfield. We're going to give him a carry here on 2nd down, and I see a hole, and we're going to get a block downfield, and he is going to find the end zone for a 2nd time. Touchdown, Roadrunners. So offense humming, relying on the run game like I had thought we were going to have to at the beginning of the season, and we keep pushing here against Texas State. This was what I was hoping for. I really thought we could do this more consistently, and I really thought that Fresno State was going to be a game that we could go out and do that in. I thought Jamel Hardy was running a different route there, so I guess that's on me that time. So it looks like we are in the red zone once again, though. Haven't needed to see the defense a single time, which is very nice. It means the defense is putting up a great performance against a team that we should be putting up a good performance against. And now we just have to continue to execute here. So inside the red zone, what are we going to draw up? Do we give Parker Fulgham a chance? No, we can't, because we're getting sacked. Offensive line definitely still letting us down. I think that's going to be a big point of emphasis for us. We got to get some guys who can give us some time to throw the ball. I know our quarterback necessarily isn't throwing at an elite clip or anything, but we definitely want to be able to set up some passes that are longer than a few yards, and we definitely want to keep the defense guessing, as we are not able to get it there. He was wide open, but unfortunately our quarterback cannot get the ball in there fast enough, as his throw power just makes it kind of impossible to do so. So 2-minute drill now. We still have time to set up a little bit of the run game here, as we're going to hand off to Dugar Jr., and he is only going to get a few, as the 2-minute timeout is upon us. So, all things considered, first half has been much better from the offense. 14 points only still, I think, is a little bit of a disappointment, as I did not mean to throw the ball away there, or at least that soon. I've got a little bit of the yips, I think, based off of the last few weeks that we've had. And it's now going to be a third and incredibly long. I feel like this is very similar to the last Texas State game we played, where we shot ourselves in the foot just a ton. And we're going to be 4th and 3. You guys mind if I do something maybe a little bit crazy here? Want to give our offense a chance to go down and get some points before the end of the half, but we got to keep the ball if we're going to do so. We're going to drop the ball off to Parker Fulgham, who's going to make a big juke there and get some space. So first down, maybe a little bit crazy, but the best coaches are, right? Les Miles used to eat grass on the field. Dan Campbell eats kneecaps. And Bill Belichick sleeps with 24-year-olds. We're all crazy in some sort of way in the coaching circle. We just have different forms of crazy. And my form of crazy might be thinking I can run deep passes while my offensive line is essentially fence posts with no fencing in between it. It's a come right on in and take whatever you want, like the back door is unlocked and you're a tweaker just able to get inside. So 4th down now. We've got a decision to make. I think we are outside of field goal range, which is why they're suggesting we punt. If we went for it on our own side of the field, we go for it here. We've had a good game so far. I might not have faith in my quarterback, but I've got faith in my receivers maybe to go up and make a play here as we go up with James Madison II, the guy who took a huge step up this year, and he's going to go up and make a huge catch for us inside the 5-yard line. We're going to run down the field now because we are out of timeouts. We're going to hand the ball off to DeVoris Jones, maybe get something on the ground for a touchdown as he is not able to get in. All right, we're going to have to rush back to the line. Can we get something through the air for a touchdown? I didn't see the play art on the field, so I didn't know what was happening, so I was just going to sprint up the field with Denzel Gardner, and it's going to work. We can't score a single score through the air. It's fine. We'll just keep hammering the ground game because it is what is working for us. And we are down inside the red zone again. Are we getting some turnovers in this game? That would be positive because we need to have a positive turnover ratio this year. And, man, I really hope that we are able to keep up play like this in conference. To be able to walk in, especially against some of the the less talented teams in the American, if we can walk in there and put up performances like this, I think we have a chance to make some real noise in the American this year. So, handoff to Dugar Jr., and we are getting stuffed again. Okay, so big 3rd down here. I think it's time we give James Madison another chance as that ball is nowhere near where it needs to be. Okay. All right. So let's try Old Reliable. Let's go. Where is it at? Let's go for the QB sneak here. Looks like we've got a pretty big green window to get in. Can we get in? No, I mistime it, and we are stuffed. So Texas State makes a big goal line stand there. I mean, I feel like we could be winning this game 45 to or 42 to nothing if I feel. Once again, if I feel like I'm holding us back a little bit in this game as we are not able to get anything going on the ground there. I feel like I'm holding us back just the slightest amount. I feel like if maybe I call a couple different plays there, we get into the end zone, but I also have a pretty big fear of, the talent that I've got at the quarterback position right now. I just don't trust him, unfortunately. After the first 2 games where we haven't seen him do much of anything as he gets stuffed there, it's been hard to put my faith in him. He's definitely had a much better performance today. I think he's almost at 250 yards passing, so, you know, that's definitely more what we were hoping for when we brought him on the roster. I still think we have a lot to think about as far as long term, because I don't think we're winning this game today because of his play. And, I mean, we're certainly not winning because of how I'm performing while I'm controlling him, but I'm also not controlling him for a large portion of the game, as Texas State is able to convert on that because we cannot get the pass rush into the backfield in time. And they're going forward on 4th down again. So we're finally getting some defensive action here at the end of the game. Need to make a snap here. I definitely want to secure this blowout bonus. I think we'll get the blowout bonus even if they score here, but it would be nice to get the interception. But we do get the stop, and that means we're back on offense. So we just got to empty the clock on this game and walk out of here with a win. A shutout win, no less. So I think this is a good sign. I think this team coming out here, putting up a performance on Texas State like this, where their squad is definitely worse than our. I don't know what direction he was going trying to play the ball there. I think I might have not have been in the best spot. But coming out against a team like Texas State, where we should 100% be the dominant force, and actually being so from start to finish, I think is exactly what we want, as we play the perfect lurk there with Carson Wise and get the user interception to finish this game. And with that, we end this game with an emphatic 27-0 victory. Offense is still not relying on the passing game much. Denzel Gardner only threw the ball 20 times today. Was very efficient, though, with 248 yards. And we're still, I think, looking for our first passing touchdown this year. On the ground, though, DJ Dugar and Tavoris Jones lead the way, both getting almost 100 yards on the ground, and DJ Dugar running the ball in twice for a touchdown. And then on the defensive side of the ball, did we get some turnovers today? We did manage to cause 1 interception. Did we force any fumbles? No fumbles. No fumbles rushing. Any fumbles receiving? Well, I guess we wouldn't see that. But, okay. So, we do get a single turnover to our credit today. But a good performance overall, and that's exactly what we needed in order to continue to build the momentum. So 1-2 now. We can take some momentum into next week. A dominant win under our belt. Hopefully, the guy that was in attendance loved what he was seeing. And we see what a performance like that does for us in the recruiting path. Hopefully, we're going to get even more guys who are pushing us up their board now that we're managing our points a little bit more efficiently. We got to really keep our eyes out for opportunities for us to take our foot off the gas pedal in some places. So we now find ourselves in a recruiting battle with Cal, and we're ahead of Cal. So that visit played a big factor for us. And it looks like after that win, we are now over into the safe side again. So that's good to see. And we're going to be up against Navy for our last game of this first episode of Season 2. We're going to go ahead and get our practice set up, get our guys ready to go for this week. Let's take a look. Okay, so I can now take the points off here because I think we can just let that ride now that our punter has us in the top spot. Same thing with all of our guys that I think we are good to just kind of let ride. I think we maybe take all of the recruiting points off of guys that don't have offers right now. So, and we try to continue adding more guys to our board. This might end up being a ill-advised decision, but I gotta have the ability to be flexible here. I think it's just going to be important for us to get him in the door for a visit ASAP. regardless. I mean, honestly, every guy, when we have the hours, because we're taking hours off of guys, kind of giving ourselves more freedom, we can go ahead and focus on giving these guys their visits set up, and then let's take a look here. Can I get his cell? It might be campus personality. Could be the clutch. Or clocked in. Oh, wait, no. Playing time is his deal breaker, and that's the only thing we know. So, it could be quite a few things. It could be campus personality. It could be the clutch. Oh, I guess it really can't. It can only be those 3 things. Maybe we take a blind guess and hope that we're right. So Teddy Duke. Oh, so Colorado put a scholarship down on him, but then took it off. But that's fine because FAU put a scholarship down on him, so we're going to keep the hours down on him right now. Greg Robbins now has us on his board, so we can go ahead and pull the hours we were using for him. Same thing with Akeem Tam here. And we can change Gregory Falah over to a soft sell. We can actually do a pretty decent job in the soft sell with him. And we are in a recruiting battle for Antoine Slater. So because we're trying really hard to get him to come to our school, we're gonna go all the way to the hard sell. And we actually have a pretty good hard sell for him. We have good conference prestige, good playing style right now, and good pro potential. So right now, as it stands, I think we've got a good chance to bring him in. But we are crossing our fingers and hoping there. As Ezekiel Davis, I think we might be able to take a guess at what his is now. Could be student of the game or coach connection. Coach connection makes me think about education connection. I mean, either one of these, the last grade doesn't do us a ton of good, so I think it's more likely going to be coach connection. So we have 65 hours left, and I think that's perfect. We can do 2 things here. I want to go ahead and do some scouting, make sure we are getting someone good in Tony Davis, and we are getting a gem in Tony Davis. So we are absolutely killing it, I think, in recruiting. And we can go ahead and start taking a look at a second or adding another player to the board here. We definitely want to add someone on the defensive side because that's where we are missing the most. And we are going to take a look now and see if we can find ourselves a cheap 3-star who's not getting any looks right now and add them to our board. So give me just a moment here. All right. So I added Cornell Bowie here to the board, and as you can see, I spent 30 of the 35 hours we have left to fully scout him. He's not a gem, however, he does have 90 speed and 84 acceleration, so I think we can definitely make something out of that. He's also got equal man coverage and zone coverage. They're not fantastic, but, I mean, development is development, and I think we can definitely develop him. He is a little bit farther up the recruiting board as far as his national ranking, so he is expecting a little more NIL. 40 NIL, though, I think we can definitely afford if it comes down to having to offer it to him, or when it comes down to having to give him some money. I think we can definitely afford 40 comfortably right now. And I think overall we can just kind of let him take 5 points right now. No one else has given him an offer on his top 10. So we give him 5 points for now since that's all we can afford. And then next week, hopefully we'll be able to adjust his points more once we have some more points back after spending them on visits and recruit or scouting this week. So that leaves us with our last matchup of this episode against Navy. Last season, we had no problems taking care of ourselves against Navy. So, what do we have this time? Navy is a 70 overall team. I mean, we struggled against a team like Fresno State, who was worse than Navy. I have no perspective anymore on how we are going to perform, so we're just going to roll the dice and see. Let's go get it, fellas. Okay, so, oh, there's the jets. I was about to say invisible smoke trails in the sky. Man, I sure wish I had a better GPU than I do, but we are here at Navy Stadium. I can't quite think of the name off the top of my head. I know it, and I can't think of it. But we are here on the road. The Navy midshipmen maybe want some revenge. I'm pretty sure we shut them out at home, or at our home, last time we played each other. So we have a little bit of a chip to compete against today. So what is going to happen today? I am a little bit nervous to see what our team does, but we are already in the red zone. So just like last game, we are going to continue to rely on our run game here. As we're going to hand off to DJ Dugar, and he is going to go nowhere. 3rd and 7 coming up. Can we produce something through the air? Had a little bit of success last week throwing the ball. I'm not seeing anything too open this time, but I'm seeing plenty of space for Denzel Gardner to step up and get us a first down inside the 5-yard line. Now, we got to hand the ball back off, I think. We got to give the ball to our best 2 players, our running backs, as Tavoris Jones is not able to find any space. He's already got 4 carries for 56 yards, however, so run game is definitely finding some success. At least it was earlier in the drive. Going to look for the RPO as nothing's out there on the edge, so we'll hand off and only pick up a couple again. I think Navy's really clamped us down here in the red zone. It's really hard to score when they've got less space to cover, and we're going to try to throw one into TJ West inside. I let go of the catch button too early, but the hands overcome. He's going to step back, pull up for the touchdown. Touchdown, UTSA. Roadrunners up by 6 here early. Good start. I like seeing us come out and put up points early. Did not do much else in the first quarter, but that's okay. We find ourselves needing to make a big stop. Navy pushing the ball into our half of the field now. Great time for a turnover or a big tackle for loss here as they throw it short, and we are all over it. Nothing going on there, and we are able to get the ball back. Still nothing going on much on offense. I'm not liking that. I really want us to be able to come out and play some dominant offense. It's going to be important. First American game here on the road. I just realized this is a conference matchup as James Hartman is going to put a dime on the receiver there to put them in the red zone. And we have the Navy offense pushing the ball into our red zone. We were able to shut them out last year. They are out to prove that they can score. The ball as the running back is going to fight through a couple of tackles and pick up 9 yards here. So defense crumbling a little bit as the half is winding down. Might be a little bit tired, been on the field for a long drive. Got to come up big with the stop now as we are just... Okay. I mean, I've got him stopping on an absolute dime and just kind of rubbing off. That's not... No, he's not rubbing off. He's like bouncing off like multiple... I can't save it. I can't save it. The comments are going to be vicious, but not a great play for us there as we cannot execute a tackle and Navy is going to score. That was a really frustrating defense or a frustrating sequence defensively. We missed so many tackles and had opportunities to get off the field there and couldn't execute. So tie game now. Not the kind of performance we wanted out of our defense there at the end of that drive. Offense has to come out and put some momentum back in our sail, because otherwise the midshipmen might be sailing away with the win today. As we're going to try to get it all to Jamel Hardy and cannot time the catch there. I think we play it safe. We get ourselves a first down. Clock's not running. I think we can run through this formation and maybe no. I mean, it's a little bit concerning when getting a yard becomes a huge challenge. 4th and inches, they're gonna play press coverage, and I think we're gonna turn something into butter chicken here, as James Madison has a step, and we're gonna go up and get it. I didn't think we were gonna be able to continue to lead him down the field because we don't have the arm strength to do so. So we go up for the aggressive catch there, and I think that ends up being the right call. With a minute left now, we push ourselves down inside the red zone. DJ Dugar gonna pick up a couple. I mean, I've really gotta just start relying on the passing game a little bit more. I can't fully rely on it, but we can't just run the ball as the clock's running down, as we throw another missile in for James Madison, and we're gonna throw or call a timeout here, give ourselves a chance to catch our breath. So 2 timeouts left. We can run the ball here. Let's not be the Seahawks and throw an interception on the goal line. Let's hand it off to our best players. We can still call another timeout if it doesn't work out like it didn't there. Navy playing some elite level goal line defense. It's getting to a point now where I'm getting pretty frustrated. Our offense should be able to do something here, and finally we are able to break through the barricade, the embargo that the Navy defensive line placed on the goal line, and we break through for another touchdown right before halftime. So Navy comes out in the second half and is able to tie it up again. So we find ourselves in a close game here. As the 4th quarter is upon us, we find ourselves in a tough 3rd down, kind of in between being able to hand the ball off comfortably and needing to run, but we are going to go for the throw and end up having to step up, and we are able to pick up the 1st down, but offense is not moving the ball too effectively in this second half. A lot of what we saw last season, where it seems like we started out strong, but we've kind of fizzled out since then, as we were able to pick up yet another 1st down. And once again, offense sputtering, as we are going to need to come in on a 3rd and 10 and get us a 1st down. Can we keep the drive alive? Game coming down to the wire now, as I cannot come up with the catch on the drag. So 4th and 10. I think we're in worse position if we don't kick the field goal than if we do. I think our defense has played well enough to keep us in the game so far. I think I've got no reason to believe that they can't still keep us in it. So we kick the field goal, take the lead. Let's hope the defense makes a stop, and instead I see 2 massive runs by Navy, and they're inside the red zone. Guys, this can't be the level of production we have. When games are on the line, we have to make plays, guys. We can't. Okay. This is really getting to a point where I don't understand how I'm failing this team in the way that I'm failing them. This team, why didn't we kick the ball there? Why did they not put the ball in my hands? How is us being down that late in the game? Why are oh my God, guys. We can't come out every week and lose to teams that are worse than us. Twice now. We have come out against teams that we have no business losing to. And I mean, barring us getting a big stop here on these next couple plays and then having a big drive to finish the game, we're going to be 1-3 to start the season again. And like, I think partially, once again, we missed an opportunity. We've missed a few opportunities in this game, as I forget to call a timeout. Oh, that really sucks. So we lose time that we could have had if we were to make a stop here on 3rd down. because I forget to call a timeout, and they are just going to hand the ball off. So let's not forget to call a timeout there. So a minute 28, one timeout. We have an opportunity to win the game. I don't understand why they don't think us being down with less than 5 minutes to go in the game is not a big game or a big drive, and why it's not important enough for us to be in control of our offense. But we are now. 1st and 10, 80 yards to go, and we need a touchdown to win the game. I mean, we need to get some separation on these quick routes. And, I mean, Parker Fulcom is just not, he's not getting it. As we can't get completions on 2 straight plays there. Already facing a tough 3rd down. A drive we cannot afford to have come away with nothing, and we are now facing 4th down. So it all comes down to this. We need to find a 1st down here somewhere, and we don't. Can't come up with the catch, and we are going to go to 1-3. We're going to lose our first game in conference, and we're going to lose to Navy this year after dominating them last season. Something's got to change. Something needs to change. The defense really sold us down the river, missing tackle after tackle at the end of that game. Our offense continues to sell us down the river. I'm gonna stay calm. I'm not gonna get angry. Our offense continues to sell us down the river because we have no passing game. What did he do today? What did he do today? 8 of 20 for 80 yards. Okay. It's time. It's time. We have to put him on the bench. I don't know if I have no clue if James Hand is going to play better than this. But it can't be much worse. It can't be much worse than the 3 games that Denzel Gardner has put together. We'll look at his stats before we end the video here, because I'm disappointed in myself for bringing him in. We walk out of a game that I think we should have won comfortably with a loss. And now going into next week, we will have to take a long look in the mirror and put something together quick, because otherwise we are looking at pretty dire straits for the rest of the season, and our job security will continue to get more and more shaky if we cannot win these games, especially these conference games that we have coming up. And our quarterback, through 4 games, completing less than 50% of his passes for 500 yards, a touchdown and an interception. We just can't. We can't win with that. So I think next week, in the next episode, we are going to be seeing the debut of our true freshman quarterback, James Hand. He's got slightly better speed than Denzel Gardner, same sort of athletic stats, but he's also got great throw power. His accuracies might not be great, but I think James Hand might be able to step in and really contribute in a positive way that at the quarterback position that we were not seeing from Denzel Gardner. So we will go ahead and sim on to the next week now and wrap up this first episode of Season 2 of this new Dynasty. As we see our first commit. Okay. So recruiting already going a lot smoother than it did last year. I think we have figured out a little bit what to do. As we see, we've got a few prospects coming in to visit this week. I think if we can, as we are now on the hot seat after losing that game. Yeah, I would want me on the hot seat too after losing to Navy. But if we can put up a big game here against Akron, who is 0-3, we can maybe put ourselves in really good position to finish some more of these recruitments and continue to build up a big recruiting class to help us continue. Gosh, I'm saying continue a lot, but we are building here. So we want to continue to build. So next episode, we will be playing the next 4 games on our schedule, hopefully finishing out some more recruiting or some more of these recruiting battles, and hopefully losing less. And maybe that'll be because of the hand of our quarterback, James' hand. I'm really punning in this episode, can you tell? But with that being said, it is time for us to call it for this episode. If you did like this video today, please leave a like and subscribe. And leave a comment about what you think so far of our performance and definitely how Coach Chair is selling us down the river. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Always appreciate you guys stopping in and hanging out. And I will see you guys later. Take care.